Another little heroes video. How are you? Happy Easter. I hope if you are celebrating Easter, you are safe and you're eating a lot of chocolate bunnies and hot cross buns. If you aren't celebrating Easter, then wish everyone that's celebrating Easter happy Easter. In Australia, we celebrate Easter and you might be surprised, we get 2 days off for Easter. We get Easter Friday and Easter Monday, which is not called Easter Monday. We just get 4 days. And I know in Italy, they obviously celebrate it as well. I think it's called Pasquale. So, Buono Pasquale. Um, I only know that because my ex-girlfriend was Italian. So, Buono Pasquale and Buono Natale is Christmas. Anyway, if you're Italian, tell me if I'm wrong. So, obviously, this week we are going to talk about the Easter event. And I guess the key thing to note is like the value this week is much, much better. Like this event is really good. And I think it's good not because they're being nice. Like let's be honest, right? This game is about money, right? They're trying to extract a commercial outcome. The reason why I think this week, and we'll go to the value in detail, but in generally speaking, the value this week is good because the game is dying. If you didn't realize why they're being so generous, they're basically in the throes of like death on this game, right? There's just there's nowhere else to go, and I think that's why they're just giving more stuff away, so then people are more inclined to spend and to buy. Um, but let's talk about the event this week. So this week is obviously a summons event with the scrolls, and the prize is I've already done a couple, and the prize obviously this week is what's her name? This lady Fiona. So I have already built my 10 star, no, not 10 star, my E5 Fiona through a combination of just summoning her out as well as replacing like just junky heroes I had lying around using the Palace of Crystals feature. And I kind of already knew that she was a must build just based on the past few priests that have been introduced. Uh, Priest it's one of those classes where you're pretty confident that it's going to be something good, right? Because if you look at the last few priests that have been introduced in each of the factions, they've been either a must build or it's worth building, if not a definite must build, right? So there's obviously a spectrum of don't fucking build, build if it's probably worth it, and then absolutely must build, right? So Fiona's somewhere between build, it's probably worth it, and absolutely must build, right? Based on what I've seen. But even before then, there are no heroes in the priest faction that basically fall into the don't build arena, right? And to prove a point, I was going to do a review about this last night, but I was like, I couldn't be bothered. The last priest here, if you look at that, Gustin, right? He was very useful, like not essential, but super useful. If you look at Fortress, obviously it's this lady. She is the very latest priest. Who was the priest before that? Nobody. Basically her, but that was such a long time ago. Well, she was a mage. Was that? Who's the priest? Is it her? Yeah, Emily. And Emily's like super useful. Just for lineups. Ignis was the last priest in Abyss. Very useful. Again, for PvE especially, must build. And then if you go to Forest, who was the last priest? The very last priest was actually Elvia. Again, very useful for PvE. And you would argue just must build now. Then if you look at Dark, you've got Amun Ra, which was a must build. And then if you go over here to Light, it's obviously Belrain was the last hero. And Belrain, she's come and gone, but like her utility has just kept up. So if you look at the past few heroes, just the history of that class in general, I was almost dead certain they just weren't going to introduce another dud hero. That it was going to be mildly useful, whether it's just for PvE, which is critical, because PvE is such a big mode right now, or PvP. It looks like she's good for both, but I had a sneaky suspicion I was going to end up building her anyway, even without understanding what the active skills are. It's just because of the utility of the class, the support it provides. It's just so that's the hero. But the event, if we talk about it, look, Palace of Eternity, nothing changes. Palace of the Crystals, nothing changes. What has changed is these value packs. And it's one of those things where if you don't sort of track value, it's easy to miss, right? They're giving away more scrolls now, right? And so that's why like you think, oh, it's better value now. It's still terrible value, but it's because the game's in decline, right? So now that they're forced to keep giving away more and more just to tempt people to buy. So how much are they giving away in terms of extras? So if we go to our spreadsheet and link down below if you want to go into the history of it, but basically, if you look at, you can't see it, it's out of the screen, but if we go here and I've just managed to move these windows and adjust it a bit for YouTube because I know none of you can see it, right? So over here we have the new scrolls and here are the old scroll packages, right? Old amount down here and new amount down here. So for the $100 package, you're basically getting another 30 scrolls. And then obviously scales with that. And so basically, yeah, they've rejigged the scrolls packs and now they're giving you more scrolls. So if you were going to do this event and you had to buy, it's actually better value. But you know, are you really going to spend money in a dying game, right? Make no mistake, like this, we always knew this was going to happen. These are one of the signs that this game is in decline when they're just throwing out all this value out there. Because guys, it doesn't cost them any more. They don't lose any money from giving out more scrolls, right? It doesn't cost them any more money. They think it does, but it doesn't, right? The reality is you only want to be paying like $100 for every new hero, and even then, that's like stretching it because you're saying you got to keep in mind $100 gets you one brand new game, like Battlefield or Call of Duty, one brand new game. These guys, you're not even getting one brand new hero and they want you to pay $100. There's so many people that are actually willing to do that in their minds, it's okay. It's going to get to a point where they're going to give away 2,000 scrolls basically for $100 because I think that's where the game's headed. Like that's when you know, like it's really on its last legs. They're trying to extract the last things out of it, right? So we're slowly on that journey there. Hero lottery, yeah, summon prizes. So this week, obviously the addition is with these Easter coins, and we're going to talk about what those coins get you. But obviously, if you do one loop, you get 35 of these Easter coins, and if you do 3 loops, you get an artifact, which is really nice, right? Usually speaking, you would have to do 4 loops to get to the pay to win artifact, but this week you only need to do 3 loops, right? Again, you're all probably thinking, wow, super nice. It's because the game is like, it's getting harder and people are losing interest, right? So they have to start giving stuff away. It's not because they're generous, it's because they're trying to keep people playing the game, right? You got to understand the psychology of it. So 400 points, you're going to get the new hero. You're obviously also going to get cores now at 300 and 500 level, and they should just give more feathers away, honestly. But that's where we are. Heroic exchange is Tussie and Eloise, both useless heroes, but I did exchange both of them, so then I could swap them out for the brand new hero. So that was the one useful benefit for me this week. And the reason why I got these heroes and swapped them out is simply because I've got 24,000 of these little fuckers. And if I look at the amount of heroes I have, there isn't going to be, I don't need any more heroes, right? I don't need any more copies. That's the thing. So I was like, if I don't need more copies, I might as well use them at some point in time in the best way I can. And in this instance, this week, right, I had these Palace of Eternity crystals. I didn't have enough copies, so I was like, well, I'll just use my Soulstones, swap them out, and get these 2 heroes. Almost as workshop, nothing special. This week, it's these artifacts. Yeah, you know, you still can't get the newest artifact with that Heartstone, which is surprising. Obviously, it has a lot of utility, which is why they're not giving away. But this stuff, you know, AMB is great if you haven't already built one to Splendor level, and obviously Demon Bell mandatory if you are trying to push in PvE modes, but also useful for PvP as well. So that's the glorious boost. If we then go into next week's Imps Adventure, nothing special. Shelter Mission, Garuda. These are all nice heroes, but not really in the meta. But yeah, that's next week's event. So then we go to the Easter Party event, which is what you're all here for, right? You basically need to get Easter coins, and the way to get Easter coins is twofold. One, you do summons. So you do, depending on how many summons you do, you're going to get Easter coins, right? Like I said, 1 loop gets you 35 coins. 3 loops is 105 coins, and you only need 100 coins to basically, where am I clicking? you only need 100 coins to get you to the mysterious artifact egg, right? I've already used it once. That's you can buy 2 pay to win artifacts with these coins, and I've already done it once. I got myself a dildo. I'm basically 5 off, and once I do my final set of scrolls for this week, I'm basically going to buy my final dildo and get my second splendid dildo, and then I'll have enough in terms of artifacts, in terms of the right healers to push for Defiling Vortex. What's stopping me is basically having enough Stellar Shards to V4 everyone. That's the final step, right? I have all the artifacts I will ever need. I'm not chasing artifacts anymore. I have 2 splendid Demon Bell AMBs, 2, two, all right. I've these artifacts in the splendid version. 2 AMBs, 2 Demon Bells. I'm about to have 2 dildos and 1 Antler's Cane. You do not need any more splendid artifacts beyond that, right? So once I have that, my entire focus of this game is just acquiring Stellar Shards as quickly as I can. That's my end game. I'm basically at end game, right? That's once I've gotten to like Defiler and maybe finish Defiler, that's it. There's no more to this game. I'm just gonna quit. I don't think they can introduce anything else. Like a lot of people are already pretty much there. So then, well, I should say that. That's a bit arrogant to say. A lot of big spenders are nearly there, right? That's the fair thing to say. So then, if you can't get these coins, then what should you spend it on? I mean, honestly, I wouldn't really spend it on copies. 40 for a copy, really? It's just do everything in your power to get the artifact. It's just this is one of those rare occasions where you can I can't think of an instance where it's been so easy to get an artifact that you can pick like that. It's not some junky artifact. This week you do 3 loops. Even if you don't do 3 loops, right? Let's say you do 2 loops. You then only have to buy this $50 package to be able to get an artifact, right? It's never happened. I can't think of an instance where it's been this easy to get a pay to win artifact. And the fact that I can get 2 pay to win artifacts this event, it shows you how easy it is. I spent about 100. I got the 100 pack. Sorry, I bought one of these. I bought this pack, and I did 3 loops, and I'm going to end up with 2 pay to win artifacts, right? Keep in mind, during campaign, it cost $180 to get 1 artifact, assuming you use no universal crystal shards. This week, I've spent $150 and I got 2 artifacts. 2 artifacts, right? That is phenomenal value. I'm not saying the value's not going to get any better. I think it will. Over time, it's only going to be cheaper to get pay to win artifacts because pay to win artifacts, everyone's getting artifacts. It's not a showstopper anymore. It's not the defining thing that stops you from killing someone else, right? I think we're at the state where it's just easy to get artifacts, right? That's why I'm like, fuck, choice between this and, if you're new, I totally get it. You're like, look, I don't have enough scrolls to push any further. It's just such a waste this week. I would almost tell you to buy. I'm almost at the point where I would just say, look, just buy enough shit to get you enough of these coins just to get the artifacts, because it's just this is the lowest point. Well, not the lowest point. This is the cheapest that I've ever seen it in terms of getting a pay to win artifact. Apart from like 2 weeks ago when we had that spring supplies event, I forget how much you have to pay to get the pay to win artifact, but I think it was like less than $100 again, right? So if you sort of take that event and look at this event, you're like, it's a trend, right? They're making artifacts cheaper to get, and I think they're going to make it cheaper to get or more easy to get during the campaign week as well. So anyway, long story short, just do everything in your power to get 100 Easter coins to buy the artifact. I wouldn't bother spending your hard-earned coins on these skins because they don't really do anything, or hero copies. I mean, puppets, yeah, maybe, but fuck me. The number 1 pick this week is the Mysterious Artifact. Like, I just wouldn't bother with anything else, right? I'm not going to do the analytics in terms of like which one's better to get, because I think that's just a fundamental waste of time to get a copy, a puppet, or a festive skin. But if you're in that position, I would dare say that skins are pretty decent, because these are festival limited skins. Like you can't get these from fusing the normal skins together or out of the chest from Imp's Monopoly. These are special skins that you can only get when events are on. But at 40 a piece, that's pushing it. So anyway, that's the Easter egg market and how to get stuff. This event is nothing. It's Blair. Like the rewards aren't that great. The first reward is great where you get, if you can collect these elephants, you get 10 scrolls. Everything else is like, I mean, carry is not really in the meta anymore. If you're new to the game, yeah, you probably need to build a carry because everyone needs to build a carry. But then in terms of all these other things, I'm like, it's not that exciting. Right? I wouldn't actually go above and beyond just to get these rewards. I mean, like, just play the game normally and see where you get to, right? You're gonna do 4-star tavern quests. You don't even need that many 4-star tavern quests. You only need 20. Disable 3-star heroes. If you're doing this event, you're gonna disable copious amount of these 3-star heroes. So infinitely attainable and easy to do this. You're gonna spend arena tickets just doing the dailies, and you're going to do Trial of the Champion, you're going to do Crystal Crown League. It's going to be very easy to spend these tickets. Like in Trial of the Champion, you're going to spend 3 tickets per fight, right? 30 fights and you're already there, right? So it's very easy to spend this amount of tickets. This 5-star hero I'm on might be slightly harder to get. I would say that, if you can wait for your monthly reset and it falls into this week's cycle, then wait for your monthly reset. Otherwise, the question is it worth doing 20 to get 100 of these elephants? I would say no, especially if you're sort of compromising. You're tossing up between doing it now to get the carry or one of these rewards or saving it for your monthlies or for something else. It's just, I do it in the course of your game. Yeah, look, this is a nothing. This playful princess event, it's nothing for me this week, except for the first 50. We get these 10 scrolls. These other things, like, yeah, they're nice, but the problem is there isn't a must-have light dark hero right now that I'm saying you should absolutely build. Well, is there? Look, there's a carry, and then there's Arm and Ra. They're still mildly useful, and maybe the Russells, maybe a Forces. But the reality is, if you're getting this light shard, you can't pick who you get. You're going to get an Asmodel in all likelihood, right? So that's why the value of this isn't really there. And similarly with this elite hero shard, you're not going to get anyone good. I can almost guarantee that, right? So is it worth you, stressing out, doing all this to get it? Look, I wouldn't push it, but if in the course of playing the game, you're going to do these things, you're not going to mess up your progress with anything from completing these things, and go and do it because you're getting these bonus items. They're giving it away for free. So why not, right? This final pack, look, let's do the math on it. So I've done the math. It's about 528 gems per dollar spent. So what do you get? You get 5,000 gems, you get 100 scrolls, you get 35 Easter coins, and it's about 200 gems per Easter coin. The logic behind that is it costs you 100 Easter coins to get one artifact, and if you accept that 20, what is it? It costs 20,000. If one artifact, pay to win artifacts, is worth 20,000 gems. Then you're effectively saying, you need, what is it? It's about 200 gems per Easter coin, right? That's how the math works out, and that's the math here, right? Easter coins, 200 a piece. Skin, it's Morax. It's not even like festival limited, right? You're gonna be he's useless. So adding a skin on a useless hero is not going to make him useful. He's just a good-looking useless hero. And secondly, it's not a festival limited skin. So at some point in time, maybe 6 months on, you're going to be able to get this hero, this Morax, from the skin chest from Imp's Monopoly, or you're just going to be able to fuse like common skins together, and you might have a chance of getting him, right? So it's nothing to get excited about. Really only buying a package this week because it's a much better value compared with basically these value packs. Even though with these value packs, they have now included an additional amount of scrolls. It's still terrible value, right? So that Easter package, it's 528 gems per dollar spent. In the greater scheme of things, like compared to the last few value packs, it's not actually that good value. They've actually increased the value. I know the usual value we aspire to when we look at these special packs is 400 gems per dollar spent. And that's the long run average in terms of the value to look out for these kind of special packs. So if you look at the average here, this number, that's the number to shoot for. But if you look at the last few value packs that they've done, we've actually been trending up, right? The value has increased. So if you do like these packs, leave out the outliers, the 1,000 gems, 1,500 gems per dollar spent type packs, right? If you do like the last 4 or 5 packs, the average is around 581. So the last 5 packs, 546, 550, right? So, the fact that this only gives you 528 gems per dollar spent, it's still above the long run average of 400. But the reality is, over the last few weeks, these packs have been delivering like 550 and above in terms of value, right? So this one, it's line ball in terms of value, but I would say definitely buy it, just because if you can do 2 loops of scrolls and then just buy this pack, if you're just short and you can't do 3 loops, then like I said, the aim is this week is to basically get your free artifact. I'm getting 2, so that's the event for this week. There's nothing else really to talk about. I know one of you asked me a question around Gate of the Void, or Void Vortex in particular. I think Jonathan, in terms of, you just noticed that I basically got to, where am I? You can't tell. But basically I've gotten to Valiant 6 now. And you're asking, what it took to make that push. I'm going to be dead honest. It was my Russian friend ZZZZ that basically did the hard work for me. Like that guy's like next level IQ in terms of Void Vortex. Look, maybe I'll write him and I'll ask him, look, what general tips are you willing to share with this channel if you're comfortable? But I can't take credit for it. Right? He basically got me all the way to Explorer 1 with 1 planet to go, and we ran out of gems. So I bought a couple of packs just to finish off, just to get to Valiant 6, because I just wanted it done and dusted. I'd wasted a whole bunch of gems, over like 10,000 or whatever it was, just to get to Explorer 1, and I only had 1 planet left. I'd be damned if I wasn't going to get to Valiant 6 after spending like thousands of gems, right? Because I wanted to lock in 6, so then I just didn't have to every week, try and get back from Explorer 6 to Explorer 1 and into Valiant 6, if that makes sense. The incremental sort of stellar shards that you get between Valiant 6 and Explorer 6, it's just worth the 12,000 gems investment if you can make the push, right? What it takes to get to Explorer 6, it's no different from what it takes to get from Pioneer 6 to Explorer 6, basically. And so if you see my earlier video, right, leaving the lineup aside, right, basically if you cannot pass Explorer 6 and Explorer 5 without using any of the protection signets, you cannot push to Valiant 6, right? You cannot use any signets in Explorer 6 or 5. And even then, when you get to 4, you only want to start sparingly using it, right? We basically got to Explorer 1 when I pushed. We ran out of signets. I had to keep re-rolling that planet until I got a lineup weak enough where I could basically just use my shit heroes without protection to kill off that team. That's where we're at, right? That's where this game is at. So that's the only general I can give you. If you're using signets in 6 and 5, you cannot push. And the other thing is, you need an Ignis and you need a V4 ticks. If you don't have a V4 ticks, you cannot push to Valiant 6. So those are the only generals I can give you. Let me ask ZZZ if he's willing to share his advice and his knowledge. He's given me some tips, but the reality is he was the one that, like I said, he did it for me. I said, look, here's my account, log in for me, just push it for me. So yeah, that's the Easter event for this week. Good value, only, like I said, because the game is dying. And I think value is just going to get much better over time, all right? So is it a must-do? Look, I don't think it is. I think come around the anniversary event, I think you're going to be able to get like the artifact easily again. Yeah, I think the game is it's at the point where they're just going to keep cranking up the value because people have just stopped spending or they've gone away, right? So they're trying to just encourage existing players like me just to spend more. And when I see artifacts like that of such great value, I just do it, right? The problem is obviously inflation, power inflation, meaning like not everyone is going to get artifacts on the cheap. And it's no longer going to be an advantage to have the pay to win artifacts. Just like what it is with the resonance suits, right? Over time, like, I've got all my gems saved up, so bring on the next set of resonance changes, right? So that's the video. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a great Easter. Bye.